imagine we'd work early to get here, but.
I had to tell my lady that I was in the meeting with, look, I gotta go. I'm sorry, but I gotta go. She was all, I mean, she wasn't mad, but she was just like, we're not done.
You ready?
As ready as we'll ever be.
Does it work now? All right, the agenda, the first, second item there is items that are from the public that aren't on the agenda. And I think at the board's direction, you wanted to make this more of an open, try to get issues from the public. I did want, I sent you an email today from Jeff Henry, so I just wanted you to note that he would like to come in and talk about specific issues, and I think it's really the extension of Coal Creek Drive north into the town center. So that's an item that maybe down the road we can talk about scheduling. And I know the developers of the Anderson property are having a neighborhood meeting next week or so. I'm going to talk about that issue as well. So Anderson's the property kind of south of Superior Town Center, and that's the intervening property to extend Coal Creek Drive into the town center. So I know that option, that issue's out there, and on the board's discussed that in the past, but Jeff wants to talk to you about it. Okay? And then we have several members of the public, if you want to talk about, you have the agenda, so if there's anything else on there that's not on the agenda.
What? Well, I want to talk to the board. Got the time?
I can't tell. You want to get on record?
They can't hear it. How are you? Good evening, board.
Good evening, George.
Hi,
I have a few questions. Do you mind?
Not at all.
shoot.
You people are supposed to represent the town of Superior, original town of Superior, and I don't feel that you're doing it so. I talked to a board member about Coal Creek Drive on the west end a while back, how they narrowed it down to 20 feet when we had a 45-foot street through there to begin with. Why? I was told that Remington wanted to do it that way. We didn't want Remington here to start with. Only 2 of you board members voted for that subdivision up there. We wanted Coal Creek wide, like it's supposed to be, not cut down. You've come in here and narrowed our streets. We feel bad about it. What can we do? You got nice wide streets up in Rock Creek when you moved up there. Why can't we have them? We have them to begin with. You've narrowed them down. If we'd have put the money in a bridge over here that you put them nice rock that we look at every day, we'd have had something. That was supposed to be from McCaslin on up to the cements. It ain't. Over $1 million for that. What's going on? I mean, aren't you following through with what you say to do? I was under the impression that it was to be done from McCaslin up to Towners to pay, and so is the district, the other district. It ain't done. Have you looked at it? Mm-hmm. I don't think it's right. And I think you people better start paying a little more attention to what we want down here. Thank you.
The next item was 88th Street access options, and what we have there, you probably haven't gotten it up yet. Okay. Let me can we bring up Google from here?
Yes.
actually what I'll do is, I have,
It's a beautiful
I
picture.
know, it's a great picture of Creek.
A little murky on the water.
You mean purple?
I see purple flowers, purple.
Yeah, that's right.
There was a wildfire, I was like, we're gonna have a wildfire.
Okay, so this is with full movement access, got it. Roundabout on 88th. That's pretty good.
there's Google Earth.
You know,
What is this?
Well, that's the development, the apartment versus buildings.
Okay.
Oh, that we looked
The
at that
housing
concept
that
plan.
mirrors,
Right.
So if you can look at these, I can try
Yeah,
to
yeah.
walk through on them.
Sure.
We're talking to both the Saharias property that's located on the east side of 88th and the Anderson property that's located on the west side of 88th. And before we go too much farther with planning of those developments, we wanted to try to get out in front of the access issues. So the first option is how we've been directing them to implement their plan, with Saharias having an access that opposes Waldona. And that access could end up being a traffic signal because of the traffic on Waldona and from the Saharias property. The north axis, if you see, is located at the bottom of the bridge as you come over the 88th bridge. Not a great location to have a full movement access and turning left across, speeding traffic as it comes down off the hill. So we've suggested that to them, putting in a three-quarter access, which would be lefts in, rights out, but the left turn out would be restricted. So that's one access option. The issue that we may have here is the Waldona people may say, well, we're encouraging traffic on Waldona because we're putting a traffic signal there, we're putting full movement access, and we're emphasizing Waldona, and they may not want that. I'm just speculating some of the people we've talked about. Option two is same option, but we put a roundabout there. Don't really like this this option just because the roundabout may be too close to some of the houses along Waldona.
It looks pretty tight.
Yeah, it's pretty tight.
Pretty
So-
tight.
So I put that in. The third axis, the third option has a roundabout located between Waldona and Shamrock. And what this does, we would convert Waldona to right in, right out, and we would convert Shamrock to right in, right out. And then we'd have the roundabout in between to provide for the left turns. So this is one that I thought could help out the Waldona neighborhood by kind of discouraging Waldona, so you have to go out of the way to make
So
the left.
Waldona, you won't be able to turn left on 88th to go towards Monarch.
Right, you'd go down the roundabout.
Go right to the roundabout, then come around and go
Right,
back.
right. So I'm just, put this out there, just wanted to see
Yeah.
what you may think. And option three, we had a full movement access up at the bridge to serve both Saharias and Anderson. And in this one, we actually threw in another access, right in, right out access for Saharias. Option four is similar to option three, but the access up by the bridge is three-quarter. And there could be other access options,
Got it.
but I wanted to bounce this off the board to see if we should maybe get with the community and bounce these off the community, see what they think about it, knowing that Saharias comes, because I hate to have Saharias get really far along in their planning and not have input from the neighborhood on how that.
I think the folks that live on Waldona and Idalia and all those side streets will probably want to have the roundabout right on Waldona. They don't want to turn right, go at half a block, and then kind of go around and head back.
You think so?
I do. But we should find out what they want.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think they want the straight through into the new? Or do you think they want to offset?
I don't think, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they would want to go to the right, be forced to go to the right towards Rock Creek Parkway and then use this and then go back towards Louisville.
I'm searching,
But
I think the residents on Waldona
Only to find out.
are not going to want any more traffic on their road, and I think they're reasonably sure to have that if we have the direct connection with Zaharias on page 1. So, but they are used to a full
Movement
turn there,
access,
left
right.
and right.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
you don't give us an option on that. So I'd like to see an option that has full left and right capability off Waldona and offset from
And off-
Zaharias.
So actually offset the two intersections?
I'd like to see something like
Keep
option
Waldona.
3 or 4, that keep Waldona, don't make it right turn only.
Okay.
That allows them, I mean, I would be pretty upset if I lived in that neighborhood and was used to going easily to Monarch High
And I
School.
can't make a left.
And I can't make a left
Yeah.
there. So I think we need to preserve the right and the left out of Waldona.
But the only way to do that is to put a roundabout right, if you're going across the Zaharias.
Actually,
Right.
Unless you have a
No,
light.
I mean,
You don't want a
no,
light.
you don't have to go, across to Zaharias directly from Waldona.
It would be a
I
T.
like the offset.
Okay.
no, what makes sense to me is option 1, and putting a light at Weldona and the full movement access.
But that's still.
That makes more sense to me.
I disagree.
I
Because I think
disagree.
people coming from Louisville, want to, like, towards Rock Creek and towards
Mm-hmm.
Superior, they do not want to have another light between, that's going to back them up.
Hey,
Every time
hey.
somebody wants to turn left on
Okay, and
Waldona,
I
it's
am
going to be like a
so
nightmare.
opposed to the roundabout in this
Right.
location.
Well,
Anyway,
I
Oh, it's
just,
tight, I know.
I'm opposed to one just because of the Weldona into Zaharias direct
Mm-hmm.
connection. I don't think the people on Weldona
Because you think
need
people
to,
would want to take a shortcut through Waldona to get to Zaharias instead of going,
they'll take a shortcut
Just like
through
that.
Weldona to get over here to Rock Creek, to the rest of Rock Creek.
They
Cut
may.
through the same way they cut through now to get to Monarch.
They may.
as opposed to going down to Rock Creek Parkway and heading up?
Right.
Yeah.
I
Because,
don't, I mean,
Well, how can we, is there a way to avoid that?
yeah,
Come
make
down
it
Zaharias
offset.
to go-
Make it offset.
you mean,
like
like number
business
4.
to go
option
here to get
4
here.
without the roundabout.
But I like your idea. Let them tell us.
Not-
Well,
this location.
the purpose tonight is
Further down, though.
to bounce this off you.
Close to homes.
But I'd
Yeah.
add a fifth option
Yeah.
that has left and
Something I
right
don't like
turns
them, I
off
just don't think that
Weldona.
That is a good utilization.
With some of
the
these.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about, but, so what I'd like to do is just maybe schedule a community meeting
Yeah, we need
out
to.
there, saying,
Yep.
we're coming out, there's a bunch of options here, let's hear from the neighborhood, what
Yeah,
they're,
we need to hear from them.
You're
What-
going to send them a letter?
I'll probably send them a letter and set up a meeting.
Right.
And,
Yeah. Each household gets a letter?
Can we do an
And the question
option
is, and I'll
5?
probably include the Shamrock neighborhood as well,
Correct.
because we may be making some changes down there as well.
So could we do an option 5 where it's exactly like option 4, but there's no roundabout at all? Just take the roundabout out. So it's either the cul-de-sac, or you could make it another
It would all be T intersections, maybe?
access. Huh?
All T intersections?
But
So
people
option
from
4
Waldona, how do they turn left?
Well, I mean, any one of these is going to be an issue, right? Because how are they going to turn? I'm not saying,
Well,
To
I
make
asked
this
him,
a-
I asked
don't
him to
change the
supply
access.
4 already with both
How
a
are you
right
gonna
and
turn
left
here,
turn.
though, if you
Okay,
want
well,
a
then that's
roundabout
it.
there?
Here, just on this one, go here. Don't do that forced right on it. Let him turn right or left here.
and without the roundabout.
Well, he can throw that
That's another option.
out too.
No lights, please, we don't need any more lights.
So, and I think it's probably a couple of meetings that we go out first. Let's hear from you. Here's some things we've been thinking about. Let's hear your ideas.
Where's the current light?
The current light is up here.
And that's just a
By the
pedestrian
bridge.
light.
Right.
It's just a
That's only
pedestrian.
activated if there's a
Yeah,
pedestrian typically.
it's actually not far from right here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually don't mind a light because it's now sort of a drag strip down there.
But you will
So,
stop 88 all the way, you're gonna get backed up. Every time somebody wants to turn left from Waldona, you're gonna have a light, that's a nightmare.
Well,
Plus, you're backing
that's
people
my
up on
first
Waldona,
instinct,
too,
Is
to
this
the-
with the light?
Huh?
My first instinct is this with a light, number one, with the light. And if you offset it, that's fine too. I don't have a problem with that, but.
So,
Okay, we have one light, one definitely no light, and one light.
I don't like this through access. I think that's where
Then
the people
offset
from
it.
Waldona have been up here too often complaining about their street being a popular cut-through. This makes it even more popular. Because you've got all,
You think the Zaharias people will use Waldona?
yeah, I
I
think
don't think
the
so, 'cause-
Zaharias people are going to go here and cut across to get over here to
Why
Rock
couldn't they
Creek.
go down, like
No,
turn
the
left and
last
go
thing,
down
you
to
get out of your
Rockaway
neighborhood, the
Parkway?
last thing you want to do is go down another neighborhood.
But I
know.
wouldn't think they would cut through Waldona now to go up to Monarch. But they do. We know that.
Yeah, we do know that.
so one thing and if we could have a T intersection here, maybe a T intersection here. So you can make lefts
Say,
here.
where are
and-
you saying here and here?
I'm saying, oh, I
A
can't.
T intersection where?
Get my- Having this be a T intersection so you can turn left, and having this be a T intersection, so this, you wouldn't have that, but you can turn left. I think that's what we're trying to say, so you wouldn't have a straight through,
Not a straight through, but you can turn left, right?
you kind of have offset. The issue with those is that we need a certain separation between the intersections for left turns.
Right.
So we'll have to look at that, see if we can make that particular option. Right now, we don't have left turns on Moldona, so you're stopping here at your risk with traffic following it, and we don't have a left turn here at Shamrock. So part of the problem is we want to provide left turns because we have so much traffic on 88th. So, anyway, the process, I wanted to go out to the neighborhood, have some initial options, ask for their feedback, maybe go out again with
Can you
analysis.
invite them here to come?
Hmm?
Yeah, ultimately, they should
Can you
really.
invite them here to come and we can meet?
That's
with
what you
the-
mean, right? To have a town meeting?
Well, I was going to have
Yeah.
a neighborhood meeting out there.
Oh,
but
out there?
We can
Or
invite
at
them.
the site?
Hmm?
At the site?
Could be at the site or at the fire station, or we could have it here. It's just a community meeting, inviting everybody to
I'd
look
like
at it.
for them to show all these different options.
Yeah,
see
I
what
thought
we
it'd be
hear
here, a
what they have to
community
say.
meeting here
Yeah.
to go through the options. Then if you need to go out to the site, you
Yeah,
can.
okay. All right,
Good start.
Yeah, no, that's just good, yeah,
Yeah.
very nice.
okay. Next item was school flasher update. We've upgraded most of the school flashers in town, put a bunch more up at Torrey's Peak around El Dorado K-8. We have, they're all radio controlled now, that they all come up on the same clock, and we have a system for monitoring those, so we know exactly when they come on and off. We have a record of that in case anybody says it wasn't working, and
And they
there's
get
a
a
dispute
ticket?
about that, so, and we haven't had many complaints. There were a couple of times when they went down, we had some wind issues, but they seem to be working okay, so hopefully we've gotten things done the way we had talked about a couple of years ago. So that's updated.
So while we have that school flasher update, what is the, how well are those, is the school zone working at El Dorado K-8?
I'm not getting any negative
I'm not
feedback out of
getting
it,
any.
no.
Nothing,
Yeah,
yeah, so it
not
must be
hearing
working.
any,
If you
yeah.
don't hear any noise, it's good news.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any complaints either.
Okay. Traffic counts. Get that. I think we'll pull up the Cold Creek Drive traffic data, because I see a number of people here talking about Cold Creek Drive. And just step back, every 5 years, we take traffic counts throughout the community, and we use those for comparison for census data to see how traffic is growing and so forth. So we did that in 2005, 2010, and 2015. So I provided you data for the traffic counts that were taken in those years. Cold Creek Drive, we've been monitoring Cold Creek Drive for a number of years, and this is the data. Can you guys see that? This is the data we've collected over time, and we've taken traffic data at various locations. These numbers up here are daily trips. So this is vehicles going in both directions. We lay a tube across the street, and we count traffic in both directions. And also, these some of the numbers, if you go back to the townwide traffic counts, you can compare it with other streets that we've counted as well. So McCaslin, Coal Creek from McCaslin, First Avenue, right out here, right by Town Hall, has grown from 1219 in '05 to 1350, 1608 in 2015, and 2210 in 2016. So that was substantial growth. First Avenue, Second Avenue, not sure about the 2015 count. That may not have been at the right location, but at least it's showing 1735 and 14 to 1831 in 2016. From 3rd to 4th, we had 1401 in 2014 and 1124 in 16. We took the 16th count was taken, I think, in April. And so we had Coal Creek Drive completed out to 76. That was open. And we were trying to get traffic to use the 76th Street route. Whether we were successful or not is debatable. And then we have new counts. So we have a count from 4th to 8th. So 8th is a new, one of the new intersections, new drives in Coal Creek Crossing. So we have 774 vehicles a day using that segment. Going from 8th out to 76th was 1,045, a little higher. In fact, we were encouraging the construction traffic to use that, so hopefully they were taking our advice. We also took a count on 4th from Coal Creek Drive north to Sycamore, which we hadn't counted before in the past, so that was 1,295. So that's the data. We also, some of these counters also have the ability to collect speed data or truck data. So the ones that counted speed, the one from 3rd to 4th, this 3rd to 4th, that's the 1124, I think there. So the 85th percentile speed was 22 miles per hour, and we took it kind of mid-block between 3rd and 4th. So traffic's
And is the speed limit 25?
25. Yeah. And then truck data, what we collected, when you collect both truck and speed data, you put two hoses across the street, and depending on how much time it takes for your axle to hit each hose, if it goes blip, 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 then it's one vehicle. So it kind of measures the time, whereas vehicles following are a much longer gap between the vehicles that hit the hose with the various axles. So this is the data that was collected. 89% was cars and trailers. 8.3% were your long pickups, big pickups, and then your trucks with two axles, but the back axles were dualies, was 2%. And then three-axle trucks, this is your trash trucks and your other dump trucks and so forth, were 0.6%, and your five-axle was 0.2%. So that's the truck data. Again, these are automatic counters, whether this was accurate or not, but that's the data we got out of that particular counting program. I think there's three people here who probably want to talk about that. Or?
So Alex, what are your conclusions, looking at all this?
What are my conclusions?
Yeah, what do you think
Well,
about?
it's, there's...
Are there problems represented in
Well,
that?
the speed doesn't look, to me, the speed, what was good about it, at least the speed looks below the speed limit.
Yeah,
And because
pretty
we
good.
have two stop signs and we have the bulb outs and so forth, so from a speed standpoint, it looks like it's doing the traffic calming features that we built in, seem to be doing the job from a speed standpoint. The trucks, to me, seem like it was much lower than what I think the residents have been saying, that there's much more trucks than what this data reflects. The overall traffic volume is, it's high for a residential street, and if you see Waldona, about that amount. When you get over 1,000, you get, people that live along those streets, tend to say there's traffic issues. So it's very similar to Waldona in terms of the traffic volumes.
Alex, when Remington is finished and everybody moves in and we don't have any more construction going back and forth, does that number, the 2210, do you think that's going to go up or down?
This
Yes.
may go down a little bit. I think you probably see more of an impact out by, a lot of traffic may be using Fourth.
Mhm.
So I think that there may be some decreases on Fourth and decreases on Coal Creek, a little bit. Typically, when houses are under construction, they're probably generating as much as when you have the houses occupied. Again, this may be a different type of development because it's not geared towards the soccer moms with all these kids. It's geared towards the empty nesters and maybe people that don't take as many trips. But
So folks that live there, if they want to head towards Boulder, for example, they can just take 76
Yes. Mhm.
to Marshall and then head west, right? That's
Right.
one way to do it.
Mhm.
Yeah, obviously, if they want to get on the freeway, they would have to come through,
Right.
well, they would have to get to Marshall somehow.
What were the traffic count numbers
Or somewhere.
when the Remington development was coming?
That's what I
When
meant.
it came to the board?
Yeah.
What did they project?
Right.
Typically,
Is this close or not?
I'd have to go back and look, but they typically, dwelling unit generates about 10 trips per day. So if you have 53 dwelling units, that's 530 trips a day that would be added. Of course, that would be split, among 76th and 4th and Coal Creek.
Okay.
So a couple hundred trips on each segment is what we had kind of thought, but I could go back and look at what they projected and what these numbers are showing. I haven't done that yet.
So these 2016 numbers were just compiled?
Yes.
After DDI was finished?
Yes, it was,
Okay. So we've returned to normal in terms of cut through to avoid getting anywhere near the
mhm,
DDI construction?
yes. I can,
So I do suspect there are people here to talk to this.
Yep.
can you read the date on that? Where's my view? Seventeenth of March, 7th of March. So DDI was open in early January.
Okay.
Lance, do you want to comment at all on?
Daryl, did you want to comment?
I think it's really great that you guys are forward-looking at Weldona, because we've had those issues all along. I mean, we've had development all around us, and we've never had that kind of a meeting to talk about traffic and what's going on. We currently, at that street, used to have a light at the end of Coal Creek and McCaslin, and that was taken out because of the Marshall interchange. And we only now can right out of that intersection. So the only best ways in and out are not even Second Avenue, Fourth Avenue. So I think it's great that you guys are looking and talking to the neighbors and figuring out what really works for them, as opposed to just doing something. The number that speaks to me the most is the 1295 that goes from Fourth Avenue to Coal Creek Drive to Sycamore. That number tells me,
Alex, did you
there's
know-
one house on that street right now. There's one house on that street. So all of those cars are cutting through to go to the marketplace. And when the marketplace went in, Original Town was not to be affected by people cutting through. Every single person I know that lives in Rock Creek, that I'm friends with, that I talk to, they cut through to go to the marketplace. So this 1295, this number, from Fourth Avenue, where you're driving down here, you stop at Fourth Avenue and you turn right down Coal Creek, you turn right on 4th Avenue, and then you turn left on Sycamore to access the marketplace. People do not want to go the other way into the marketplace. That's telling me those are cut-through traffics. These numbers also were not done on a weekend, and I get that they were trying to do data similar to past years, but the weekends are crazy out there. They are unbelievable. I think you'd have close to 2,000 cars a day going down that intersection if you took numbers on the weekend, which they were not. It was a Tuesday through Friday that the data was collected. And when Sagamore went in, we were told that the intersection at 4th and Coal Creek would not allow through traffic. I mean, this is 15 years that we've been told lie after lie after lie, or we'll do something about it, and not do anything about it. And here we are in 2016 with that many cars going down our street every single day.
Do you have a solution?
I have solutions all the time, Sandy. I walk up, I have notes of solutions
Okay.
all the time. I
What do you
meet
think-
with you
what do you
guys
think
all
the
the
best
time.
one
I mean,
is?
I am not a traffic engineer, but I have solutions. Yeah, shut it down so people can't turn left in here on Saturdays and Sundays. So we have peace and quiet, maybe on the weekends. We're already inconvenienced because we can't left turn out here. Everybody in Original Town has to go through 4th Avenue or to 2nd Avenue to get a left turn out of here anyway. So we're used to going around and around to do what we need to do. So if you shut that down, so you stop the traffic cutting through, that'll help. I was so excited to see that people are not speeding. That was actually really nice. But the data doesn't talk about stopping. And nobody stops. Complete
roll
stop
through the
is.
stop sign.
Yeah, a complete stop is it's ridiculous. It doesn't even exist.
And actually, that used to happen in Waldona Lane, and I appreciate you having folks there in the morning, because it's so, I see more people stopping now than they used to in the past. They used to roll through all those stop signs until they got to 88. So that's made a difference. Thank you. Make sure you pass that along to whoever's sitting there. So maybe we need to do that here too sometimes. People don't
Well,
expect to see you in
they-
Original Town, by the way. So you could catch people going through stop signs here all day long.
I think Saturday is the best day to do it. Come down here on a Saturday and sit there and you watch them come down. It's just, we were working in our front yard this weekend, and it's just a continuous stream of people flowing down there and not bothering to stop.
Yep, that's true.
The other thing is, you guys are talking to folks on Waldona before this development starts. I mean, we talked to you guys before Remington started. Everybody knew that those 500 car trips per day were probably going to come down to the intersection of 4th and Coal Creek. I asked you guys to ask them to only left turn out of there, so they had to go up to 76 and around. But nothing's ever been done,
But would they go down, since they can't turn left on McCaslin, they wouldn't go all the way down here, would they?
They come down to 4th Avenue and they turn across.
And then they turn left?
They turn left on
I see.
4th. Yeah. I mean, it just puts everybody at that intersection all the time. And the numbers are telling you that.
George Kuffner, 7520 West Coal Creek. I do quite a bit on the weekends. I notice maybe a little bit of traffic difference, but when I see them cars coming up West Coal Creek and taking a right on 4th headed for that shopping center, I'm jumping up and down. Spend your money, lower our taxes. I mean, everybody buys gas, pays for the roads. So I think trying to isolate or close them is ludicrous. I mean, everybody pays, big trucks, little trucks, cars, trailers, or people going to the marketplace. The more people we can get in that marketplace, maybe my property taxes will keep going down. I think that's our golden goose as far as our town budget goes, and I don't know if I really love seeing all those cars, but I sure like seeing them going to that marketplace.
Don't you think they would go to the marketplace though anyways? They would just go farther down and turn left on Marshall. I mean, it's not like they wouldn't go to the marketplace.
We would, absolutely, in my opinion, I think we would lose some customers there, because when you come out of the marketplace, especially on the weekends, and you have to sit on Marshall Road or Colorado 170 to get onto McCaslin and get back to 36, instead of being able to come through and then come up the hill, people, after they set a light or two, they get to where they probably don't want to come back. If you have to sit 30 minutes to get out there, you're not coming back. You're going to go somewhere else.
Actually, I'm going to just say one thing. I absolutely hate cutting through neighborhoods. It drives me bonkers because I don't want to slow down. So I mean, I don't have a problem with, looking at Coal Creek and seeing how we can prevent that cut-through traffic. And we're going to do that at Weldona as well. I just think that the major roads are the easier way to get places when you want to, when you're trying to get there quickly. I know people think that the light is going to slow them down, but that's actually not true. It's the little neighborhoods you have to go through and hit the stop signs everywhere. So I'm like not buying some of this, no offense.
Oh,
It's
that's
just-
fine. I mean,
it's-
I probably got more experience on this roadways than most people. And I'll
And you
bet
do.
you.
Yes, you do.
I'll bet you that over 50% of our traffic, and I'm talking McCaslin here, anywhere, 50% of our traffic coming through our town are cutting through. They're going somewhere besides here.
But
And it's just.
if they couldn't cut through, I don't think they would not go to the market. I think they would just realize, they would just realize they were going to get there a different way, and if they timed it, it probably is
Oh,
shorter.
I agree. All the cut-throughs don't go to that shopping center. Not all. I mean, you come down here, when this starts slowing down, and you're coming home at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, and the lights slowed down, you can't believe how many people come up West Coal Creek.
Yeah.
And they go right up and out.
I'm guilty of cut-through. I kind of like going through here. And I do stop at the stop signs. But I don't go fast. I mean,
I
to
feel
me,
it's-
it's more, I don't like to turn left and wait at this light, honestly. So I'd rather go slow and continue to move rather than being impeded by a light, so.
I'm trying to think how much of it I do as a trustee, because I actually try to cut through all the neighborhoods, because I'm a trustee for the whole town, and that's my way of sort of keeping on top. I always cut through Original Town to see the Remington development,
I
to
do too,
see
right.
how
The
the
park, yeah.
Arsenault properties were, to see how the curbs were going in at the park, et cetera, to see if there's a T-ball game. I did that Sunday. So I actually do cut through, because if I have the time,
Yeah, because if you turn left on Marshall, you miss Original Town. You don't know what's
Right.
going on. But if you cut through, you get a chance to see. That's true.
but
I agree if I'm lollygagging, but
Yeah.
if I have a destination and I want to get there, I'm not going to lollygag.
I think the numbers speak pretty clearly that there's cut-through, significant
question.
cut-through.
All honesty now, we'll be following each other home, my brother, or my nephews, my niece, whatever. And one of us will catch the light red coming to go up West Coal Creek, and the other one will take a right to go the other way. And honest, it's a 50-50.
Right.
You get there about the same,
It
right?
really is. So
Whether who
you're not
wins-
saving no time.
No. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But,
So, I
you know.
mean, if we have to restrict Coal Creek in some way, shape, or form, I think it could be beneficial to the residents that live there. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. We're actually being asked to look at Weldona in the exact
Yeah.
same way.
I think we've done a lot. My dad was up here complaining, and he don't catch very many honeybees with that gallon of vinegar. But honest, in a year or so, I'm coming back, and I'm going to start keeping track of how many people use that little 40-foot strip of grass that cost us umpteen thousands of dollars. Let's see how many people throw their blanket out and have a picnic on it or whatever. we have a park there, and that should have been turned into parking spaces. Open it up all the way to the sidewalk, and we should have been able to put asphalt there and park there for them kids and them moms have a place to go, other than on the other side. I'm serious, the other side coming down is dangerous, because them little guys come out of that little park. The cars are parked in there at a 45, and just scares me to death that one of them little guys is gonna come running out between them cars, and you don't have much time to see him. So, I mean, you can't dare.
They're also facing traffic coming out of Superior Marketplace too on that side.
Yeah.
So that's,
You know what I'm saying, is we could open that up for parking and made a lot safer for everybody to come and use it. Because I honestly don't think we're gonna get much use from individuals having a little picnic in that little bitty space. I don't.
Well,
I-
George, you and I are thinking the same. When I went there Sunday, I don't know where we were, up in Boulder, came down Marshall, we always take that 76th turn specifically to go there, and I had the same thing. Why didn't we put perpendicular angled parking in there rather than adding yet more grass there? And I think it was because some in the community did not want additional parking there. So why didn't we? Do you remember, Alex? What was that debate like?
That was one of the reasons.
Yeah.
But we are going to add some parking on 76th as well at some point.
Right.
So,
But this was off the street.
right.
I mean, had we done it, it would have been off the street, safely off the street.
Well, it would have been diagonal parking right on the street.
Huh?
It would have been diagonal parking off the street, like there is up.
It would have been recessed. The way I see it, rather than doing the grass,
Yeah, the way it is up on
we would have done
Sycamore.
asphalt and we would have had recessed.
I think we originally thought that whatever was happening on Sycamore Street was going to be mirrored over onto Coal Creek on the other side of the park. That's what we all, at least that's what I had thought, but, you know, that changed over time and.
Yeah, and I think one of the issues was more parking, more traffic than using Coal Creek. So that was one of the reasons. And I think this is one of the items on your retreat for the full
What?
board,
What is?
the traffic on Coal Creek.
These counts?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
You done?
Oh, just one more time. And I guess maybe I'm getting kind of old and gray, and people think you get old and gray, you're kind of crabby about kids, but I haven't lost my love for watching them little guys play t-ball or coach pitch out there on that field. It's just,
Right,
it's like it makes the town come alive
right.
with youth. So, thank you.
I just wanted to point out, there's 145 parking spaces around Founder's Park, so there's a lot of parking spaces there. There's
Yeah, I
plenty
get
for a
it.
neighborhood park.
Yeah,
I don't know what else you could have done with the grassy spot, but there's 145 parking spaces, there's 100 over at Target, there's lots
Daryl,
and
how
lots
do
of
you feel
parking.
about the, we're talking about where they're restoring the landscape right around 76th and Coal Creek at the park?
I always
That's
love the idea of
Brown
shutting
Mountain.
this street down and having a park go all the way across to Remington. So I would have shut the street down from 5th to 76th and had a park all the way across there. That's what I would have done.
Okay.
accident info.
Yeah.
Move on to the next one.
If we can move on, well, on the, let's see this. Do I have the packet here? Don't I have on, there we go. Just to show you some, so here's the 2015 traffic data. Let's see. And just, I think Waldona was 1194. Some of the other ones that, Coal Ridge here is 2386. Of course, that doesn't have houses fronting on that. Pitkin, 891. Indiana is about 2,700. Again, that's more of a collector roadway. Torrey's Peak, 1112. Torrey's Peak West, 835, and 1340 going up to the Snowmass area. So it's comparable, these collector roadways get those types of traffic volumes. This is a graphic just kind of showing you the change in traffic volumes over time. And as you remember, 2005 was, the economy was good. 2010, we had a recession, and then 2015, things hooked back up. So you can see a lot of the traffic has gone down in 2010 and then back up in 2015. And I put this slide that does some calculations for you. So the annual growth rate from 2005 to 2015 is about 1 to 4%. It does drop substantially from 2005 to 2010. So it seems like we've kind of come back up and recovered where we were after the recession. Traffic accidents, put a location map, and Lance and his crew collects this data, and they develop spreadsheets, and they give it to us, and we try to do some analysis with it. So this is 25, and it's hard with accident data. 1 year, accidents tend to be random, and a lot of times you don't have enough traffic to really make meaningful conclusions. So we often look at 5-year accident data, and that's what this is, showing over the 5-year period from 2011 to 2015, where all the accidents occurred. And obviously they occur at arterials and collectors. On neighborhood streets, they're one kind of spread throughout. So we use that data, and then we collect data for our, we do have injury accidents, and that's always more critical when you look at intersections. We want to make sure we're not hurting people. We only have 15 to 17 injury accidents a year. And I want to tell you that in terms of our street system, because most of the town was built in the last 20 years, we have modern traffic engineering principles, but our accidents are very low compared with other jurisdictions. I don't know if you, Lance, you could.
I can't speak to the numbers themselves, but it sure seems a lot lower than I expected.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're not having a lot of accidents, and when the intersections we do, we have to monitor those and go out and see what types of accidents we're getting, and to make some issues. For example, at Marshall McCaslin, that's our highest traffic intersection, our highest accident intersection. We had 6 injury accidents over the last 5 years. And so we've done a number of things there. We've put double left turn lanes, we put triple left turn lanes, we've went to a protected red arrow during certain time periods. So we're always looking at that intersection to see what we can do to make it safer. And we'll do monitor the other intersections as well. What's better than just straight accidents is accident rates. So we took all our signalized intersections and roundabouts and tried to put them on the same basis, where you look at the total traffic going through the intersection and dividing it, taking the accidents and dividing by traffic to calculate accident rates. And the barometer I've used in the past is 1 accident per million vehicle miles traveled, and that's what this rate is calculated. So Marshall McCaslin, over that 5-year time period, had an accident rate of 1.0. If you have more than that, if you're in the 1.52, you have a serious safety problem. So we're right at 1, and I'm hoping, this is 5-year data. We've just made a lot of these intersection improvements over the last year, so I'm hoping that rate's going to come down as we see the benefits of those improvements. So the other ones, Rock Creek, Colton, 0.73, they're all in the 0.7 area. Colton, Indiana is 0.3. So we'll look at these, and we'll look at the roundabouts and so forth to see what we can do to do any improvements.
I'm very glad to see at McCaslin the new High Plains signal. We've only had one accident.
And that was, I don't even know if that was when.
That was maybe before.
Before the traffic signal.
Because I was warned by a resident that that would be a nightmare, so I'm really glad to see it hasn't become a nightmare.
That's the type of thing we do when we monitor the accidents, and we look at those, we made an improvement, did it do what we expected it to do?
And do we sort this data at all by age of driver? Do we have any anecdotal even, are these teens, are these adults?
We could.
How about gender-based, men and women?
How about senior versus
How about
non-senior?
seniors, yes.
We do look, normally we look at weather-related accidents. We look at nighttime versus daytime. We look at presence of animals, things like that. So there's a lot of data that goes on an accident report. Right now, it's all hand-fed, so we have a manual that's handwritten, and we take some of that data and put it into
So do you have
spreadsheets.
does the sergeant, do you have any, are there patterns?
I don't have any sense for that. I would have to go back and look at that data, because you said it's all handwritten on accident reports, so.
In other words, is there something we can do?
Yeah, we have the accident reports. We can always go back and retrieve it. It just takes a little
But I
work to
mean,
do.
is there something the town can do? Can it? Are most of these rear enders where people anticipate the car in front of them is going to go through that yellow light and
Well, reading some of
that
the
person
accidents, because I
stops?
just read a bunch for the DDI, and I said, all right, what was the DDI doing? And I found 2 accidents. The guy was texting and rear-ended someone else. So, there are stuff like that. When you write up the accident report, sometimes there's information that, is this the roadway, or is this just an inattentive driver? And I know there's a couple of DDI where they were texting or doing something else, and it was just a rear ender like you would have any other place. It wasn't due to DDI.
because there are some things we can do. For example, now coming southbound off 36 at the DDI, it says stop on red, but it doesn't make it clear, can you proceed onward if you've got a clear path?
It
So it
says no
says-
right turn on red.
That's right, I was just going to say.
No.
It says no right turn on red.
Clearly says that.
I thought it says
Just
stop
there.
on red,
No, it says no right turn on red.
coming off, going south.
Right.
I'm going to have
Eastbound.
to check it out.
Yeah.
Yep,
I'll go
I
check
just-
that out, but I'm
I think it
pretty
says stop at
I
red.
think that's wishful thinking.
No,
You'd like to
because
stop.
no right turn is clear, and surely I wouldn't be that, maybe. But the other one, when you're heading towards Louisville, coming south on 36, there's only a yield sign there, right?
when you're coming off.
There's only a yield, and that's where I saw some of those 36,
Coming off.
when they came upon that, man, they tried to squeeze into narrow
Right.
spots between cars.
Wait,
and-
are you coming from,
You're coming from Boulder,
Boulder, and you're
you're
making
going
the
to
left.
Louisville,
okay.
so north on McCaslin.
Yeah, so that's
Or
an
east,
that's an
whatever.
issue that we have poor visibility there because the left turn comes up on you very quickly. And I've asked CDOT and the contractor to go back and take a look at that because I'm not satisfied with the way that operates. So I've asked them, there's not enough reaction time because the lane develops really quickly. And so I've asked them, we need, I don't think it's proper, I don't think it meets standards, you know, take your traffic engineer, CDOT, you're the professionals, go back and give me an opinion of what you think. So that is an issue.
So I want you to do both things tomorrow, because I don't think it says no right turn. I think it says stop on red. Because I
check
was confused whether or not I could keep going.
Well, you could. but-
No, not when it says no right turn, you get a ticket. Trust me, I
But you
got,
always can. My point is, you have the choice. You still can.
you're able to. It's just, you'll get that ticket, yeah. I got that ticket up on Baseline and 30th.
30th, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the type of data we collect and that we use, and if you do have analysis like that you'd like us to see, we can go back and do that. So I've just presented you a lot of the data right now without whole lot of analysis. So that's all I had. Are there other issues that you want
talk about.
20 minutes.
Unless we can start eating.
George Jr., did you have any specific issues, or are you just interested in traffic?
Interested in traffic, how this town works.
Okay. Um,
Okay. I mean, overall, the accidents are not that bad.
No, I mean, the accidents in terms of, and the other thing that isn't shown here, we haven't had a fatality. I don't think we've had a fatality.
Knock on wood.
I
Yeah.
mean, there was
Let's
one
not
on
jinx
128,
it.
but I'm not sure if that was in town, but I mean, we haven't had a fatality in 20 years.
I do have an issue that this was not on an e-blast, this meeting. I thought we had agreed to e-blast these meetings out.
Okay, I asked that question, and they told me how to advertise it, so,
I think it should be advertised widely, because I think there are a lot more issues that
Right.
people would bring to the fore if they knew about the meeting.
okay. One other update I'd like to have you, we just e-blasted the fact that we're doing this temporary left turn lane out here, and so we're starting to get the feedback, and the way we were able to implement that was to eliminate the right turn acceleration lane going, when you turn right from Coal Creek Drive on McCaslin, used to be an acceleration lane, so we've eliminated that in the interim period. And we put that left turn lane in as a temporary access so people can use the ice center. Because right now, if you're heading from Louisville and you want to go there, you got to go up to Discovery or to Rock Creek Parkway to make a U-turn. So we're putting in this now, and it'll be probably temporary access as we build the main access to the town center.
Are you slowing the speeds down
We
at
haven't
Coal
sl-
Creek where you've eliminated that right turn acceleration lane?
No, we haven't.
So you might consider it, because remember, people are
Okay.
speeding up now.
And you guys probably see that. Have you
on,
noticed
they've come
anything
off
in
the
terms of-
DDI.
Talking about right here, though.
Yeah,
You don't have an acceleration now, turn your trucks, right?
but if you can't accelerate coming out of here, you're going slower when all these people are coming at you off the DDI.
So we just put an e-blast out about that to give
Right.
people a notice
Yeah, I
that
got that one.
that occurred. So,
Okay.
Any observations, Sergeant, you want to share?
No, I've just been, pleasantly surprised with the few number of access. I thought those numbers were pretty higher than, I don't want to jinx it, but very happy with that. Have you had major accidents at the DDI recently? That's like firefighters there, not that I'm aware of, I know.
Have we had no accidents on DDI?
no, we've probably had, I'd say 8 since we switched in October. Again, that was during the construction period. Since we went to the full DDI with all the lanes.
That's what I'm talking about,
in
since then.
January, we probably had maybe 2 or 3 that I'm thinking of.
That's not bad, actually.
And a couple of those were just rear enders at the lights, and one of them was
Okay.
this texting thing.
Yeah, though, that doesn't, yeah, okay.
So we haven't had.
That could have happened anywhere if they're texting, so.
So it's one of the things I want to monitor, is it doing what we want it to do? Is it safer or not? So
Yes.
we'll keep an eye on that.
We must keep the paint fresh, though, because the paint gets worn off, the markings on the road
Then you don't know where
get
you're
worn off.
Okay, so that is.
Especially the stop here line.
So that's temporary striping. So, it opened in January. They really need warm weather to get the permanent epoxy striping down. So that'll be done in the next month, 6 weeks.
Okay.
So, and then all the symbols will be the tape symbols. So we'll get all that, upgraded as we get into the summer. So that's not the final striping.
So on McCaslin, the High Plains, those lighted signs was broken out way back.
It's replaced.
It's now up?
Last couple of days, last week, Friday.
God, I didn't notice. Okay, good. Okay, that's good. Anything else?
Nope. Good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. We can eat
We can
early.
adjourn. We can.
I think the food's there, and we don't have to eat with the people.
People.
With the rest of the people.
With the people.
The people watching this.
Yeah. Come on, no. Do. I mean, I literally have a list of them, I get that, I mean, when Andrew was there, he said, what do you want us to do? Yeah, I'd like to see it too. I'm not a traffic engineer, I don't know, but I know. It doesn't matter. It's okay.
To tell you the truth, it's gonna.
Yeah. The interest Elizabeth, you're.
Serious here? Honestly, I think it's dangerous. I really do. Yeah. I really do. I'd be surprised if he dies. If he dies, he dies. I don't think it's. Honestly, the whole roundabout thing.
If people are gonna ignore it, I mean, I think the signage should be very small starting point.
Why do you think it's open?
Because people don't even think about it. I mean, that was.
Safer in the middle of the hill? In the middle of the hill.
I deliberately do it.
Well,
I deliberately not.
And I don't want to discourage people.
It drives me, I just can't stand it.
We were supposed to be impacted.
Right here where we already have access to 170.
By the traffic that's going through.
Why didn't we have access?
That many cars going
Right here,
down
170 come
South
across.
Avenue over to.
Partial creek, town center right here, on this Boulder Valley, I see build a bridge coming across this thing.
And I can stand in my yard and I can watch that.
Why is it not the main access route?
Sidewalks.
That's my question. Come on, I'm not a traffic engineer, I'm just down hillbilly. Colorado.
I saw you take everything down.
I put
All
lots
your
of.
foliage.
That
was major.
To see your front door.
Would that be the main access? I think it should be, I think that should be the main access down there.
And the other thing,
I'm just watching
you
the
know,
people.
these
There's
towns
no
are
way you're
older,
gonna get
the
on.
traffic is so much.
It's who's paying for this? That's taxpayers or is Boulder Valley?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I noticed that on the way down, you're walking
Highlands
on
Capital?
street lights.
The wheels were
It's
good.
like 3 feet in each yard, but that's,
Never reimbursed.
you know,
So there won't be a
the
big truck.
houses were.
When I started sliding by,
street lights inside
good.
the
Well, that
Last
was
fall,
good.
And the road is too far too.
Right.
It's too far.
That's why I already talked
You're
to
out
George
of,
about.
out of
Yeah,
control. So even after.
He wanted us,
I know.
apparently, to cut into their yards to gain the land. Across the street.
Yeah, and he never articulated that.
And I said, George, you were here 6, 8 times. I said, this first time, and no, we're not moving it again.
No,
It's
and
already.
Well, and it should have been, I think he brought it up when they did the streetscaping and they put the sidewalks in. Because when they staked it out to put, either attached or detached sidewalks, the detached sidewalk stake was 10 feet into our driveway. So that was a big clue. They just decided to do attached sidewalks. They didn't actually change the surface.
But I have to say, there was a cute little, I know you don't particularly like it, but that little T-ball was.
Oh, no, I love the T-ball.
Anyway, and the chairs and, the lawn chairs.
I actually-
But I thought, what, because right now it's very visible because where they put the curbs, it's dirt right now, it's not green grass. So your eye immediately goes, why did we put that curb there? Why didn't we just allow parking in there?
But there is parking there.
Yeah, there's parking,
There is
but not
parking.
inside.
Not into the dirt, no.
There's parking. But I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm totally for off-street parking. I'd rather, at least you've got the insets, by the park by us, it's gonna be totally out of the road.
Right, and I do get the safety issue for sure.
Right.
We
Okay, well,
go before our next meeting.
maybe,
gotta
I wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning with my bright thoughts, but none came to me right now. Okay, thanks
All
for
right,
coming.
thanks.
I think with the ambient heat in there, it's going to be best. Did you turn it down or off? I would probably turn it down to 350.
Well, we got 15 minutes, I'm just gonna sit here.
Did you, oh, because it's our house. Hell no. There's still, they back out.
You said,
I think
they said there were too many issues to deal with. That's what they said. Don't repeat that.
Question. Is it not dinner time?
they'll have some.
Yeah.
We haven't got chicken anymore to feed and
Oh, God.
Okay.
I'm serious about when you go to that meat market to grab.
Oh, I will. I was gonna go this weekend, but my wife kept me pretty busy.
Uh-oh.
I didn't realize.
Those darn wives.
I got a little yard. I can't believe she can keep me that busy. I'm sitting there, I got a little yard. It's probably just, it might be as big as this room, backyard. I didn't realize there's that much work there.
Uh-huh.
How long have you lived there?
30 years.
Well, she's been kind to you if it's taken 30 years for you to realize that.
But usually what I do is I got kids that come to work and I make
Oh.
them do this and make.
Yeah.
Saturday, I didn't have no help. So I didn't have Jake to go cut the grass or Michael to go do the fence edging and stuff.
Mm.
I know Steve put his house up for sale. I ran into him, or was going to, Steve Smith.
Yeah, he's going out to Hudson. He can sell his house.
Steve Smith.
Where does he live?
He's going north of Brighton.
Oh, right here off of.
On Eaton, right? He lives on Eaton?
You guys are done, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We're done- we were done before we started.
Oh, you're always,
I'm serious. When my dad comes down here, which is what you guys need to do, is you need to bring a little 1-pound deal of sugar and 5 pounds.
I already
And
met
say,
with you.
George, I have something for you.
It's okay, don't worry about it.
He,
Yeah, you gotta have.
I don't worry about it, George. I
I
don't.
met him
You
out
made the
there.
same way.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
can swear to God, you think he saved all that just for you guys? He gets that.
I met him out
Every bit
there.
as bad.
The difference is that
Really?
you deserve it and we don't.
Okay.
Ah!
Hey, good, how are you doing? I know.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well.
I'm well, too.
I went to the doctor last week and he
Yep.
took an MRI and said,
You're good.
everything looks good, don't come back and see me for 5 years.
Ooh, you get a